Glenn Beck on the Blaze. You want to talk about unfortunate comparisons? Listen to this.
He could have united all of us. Instead, he started the old division, and you see it with Holder. What they've done is they're trying to punish their enemies. Anybody who they think was part of it, anybody who is they think still carries that kind of stuff, they're going to punish all those institutions and all of those people instead of taking the road Christ would take. I mean, it's really, truly an amazing missed opportunity. But our founders knew that we're going to do this over and over again. And it's not just the blacks. It was to the Indians. We did it. Why? Manifest destiny. Because it was a group of people who said, we know we're right. Global warming, sound familiar? We know we're right. And if you're standing in the way, you're standing in the way of manifest destiny. Sound familiar? Obamacare. We know we're right. And if you don't, you're standing in the way of progress. Sound familiar? Sound like abortion advocates? We know we're right. And if you don't agree with us, there's no place for you in this state.
So being pro-choice or believing in global warming or being in favor of healthcare reform is like the genocide of the Native Americans. Yeah, Glenn. Pretty sure that's not the case. So being positive about anything is equivalent to the genocide of the Native Americans? Is that really the case that you're making? But that is. You just said that. But wait a second. I'm also sure that 2 + 2 = 4. Is that equivalent to the genocide of the Native Americans? I'm also sure that this weird temporary state of existence that we're in, where we're alive and then we die and we connect with people while we go along the journey here, I'm also sure that this thing is interesting. Is that also equivalent to the genocide of the Native Americans? So anytime anybody's ever sure about anything, that's equivalent to the genocide of the Native Americans? No, see, he flips it there. Because if you notice, he said, well, yeah, the manifest destiny, they were so sure that they were doing right, like all these liberals. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but wait a second. No. The problem comes about when you say we are right by definition. Not we're right based on the evidence, and I can show it to you and prove it to you, and it's, verifiable that, for example, we had 45,000 people dying every year because they don't have access to basic health care in the old healthcare system, so we should do something to change that, right? There's a difference between saying we're right by definition and saying we're right based on the evidence and the facts, okay? And the irony is, it's progressives and it's liberals who say, yes, we are right, but we're right based on the evidence and the facts, and I can show it to you. And if you, as long as you're willing to listen, as long as you have an open mind and you can soak up all the proof and the evidence like a sponge, right? Then you'll get it, right? But they're the ones that actually say, no, we are right by definition. So ironically, it's the other way around, because when it comes to the so-called pro-life movement, for example, they say, no, we are sure, forget what the science says, forget what the experts say, we're sure that the very second you're done having sex, there's a third person in the room. The second the guy's done ejaculating, in fact, during the time that he's ejaculating, third person in the room. Constitutional rights totally apply, habeas corpus, due process of law, they have the right to bear arms. Okay, and that's not scientific. That's not true. So they're the ones who say, oh, we're sure that we're right. People who say global warming isn't real, have you ever seen a more religious belief? Have you ever seen a more dogmatic belief based not on the evidence? It's the global warming crowd that is actually looking at the data and saying, oh, look at that, it's a hockey stick graph. Yeah, that would appear to be a problem. So he has it exactly backwards, like he always does. But look, can we just make a pact here, guys? Let's not compare anything anymore to Hitler and the Nazis, okay, or to genocide in general. Can we just agree to that? Because here's what the guarantee is. 99% of the time, because every once in a while, maybe 1% of the time, there's a legitimate analogy to be drawn or something that makes some degree of sense, but 99% of the time that anybody invokes those things, it's guaranteed to be pathetic and irrational and useless and childish.